Hello there, everyone. This is Charlie Barley. I'm back again, and I'm excited. I'm excited because ever since we launched permutationspro.com, we've had a number of people in our sessions, and our sessions are booming, and people are making a lot of money. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about how can you make $20 to $40 an hour part-time playing roulette. I'm going to teach you how to be a roulette professional and how you can do this part-time, $20 to $30 an hour. The reason it's part-time, and it's a reason there's a cap, 20 to 30. The reason is because to beat roulette, or I'm going to say beat roulette because you can never beat an AB outcome. You can only dominate it, okay? So as long as the game continues, you can't beat it. Okay, so scratch the idea of beating it out of your head. And so get into the idea of dominating. The only way you can beat roulette is through permutations or finding out what's the most extreme anomaly. Okay, here is why I know that. There has been a record of 27 reds. That's the record. The red went 27 times straight. The record. So the question that I had 3 years ago was, why isn't it 100 red straight? Why isn't it 1,000 red straight? The reason why that is because there's a limitation upon the patterns that happen within the game. What you've got to figure out is what are the limitations. Okay, you need to know what the limitations are. And then you have to figure out, can you create those limitations and play on the backside of those thresholds? And how frequent can you do it? Okay. Now, you can still play theoretically, with what I'm about to show you to make $20 to $30 an hour. Theoretically, what we're going to do is capture anomalies. However, these anomalies do not have a calculated threshold. What that means is there is still a possibility for you to potentially lose. However, the probability of you losing is still extremely rare, and I will show you why that is. Okay. What I do with team play, the stuff that I do with if you ever let me play for you, by the way, I'm still looking for people to play for. I'm trying to build a team to play for. My goal is to get each of you making $1,000 a week. If that's interesting to you, you can look at these videos that I have and you can see how good I've gotten at calculating this stuff. I'm almost at a point where I'm calculating the exact number. Okay, so, and I know the thresholds. See, that's the difference. I know where the thresholds are, and I know exactly where to bet to match those thresholds. Okay, it's a slower play, but you can make a lot of money. And that's the reason why we haven't lost. It's the reason why I do video after video, and you see that I'm calling the numbers in the columns before they hit. And anytime you're playing columns, you're already at a disadvantage of 2 to 1, and I'm never losing because it's a calculation of the patterns. Okay. Now back to this. So basically with this, there is a uncalculated threshold that we don't know about. Meaning, let's say if it's 10 progressions, it has the capability potentially of 12 progressions. It's just rare that you'll even go to 10. So the anomaly is one that I've noticed throughout the game, but it just is extremely rare that it happens, but it can happen. The advantage to this anomaly is that you can actually play it frequently and never lose. It's just that what I'm about to show you is you're only going to make 4 progressions, or you should only make 4 progressions, right? Because I'm going to keep you in a gray area. But the only reason why you can only do this part-time, and the only reason why you should only be banking between $20 and $30 an hour, or $20 and $30 an hour part-time. The reason you want to stay within that is because anything out beyond that, your risk is starting to get too high. And that means you're going to have to play more to make up a potential loss. However, you might even notice that by the time you lose, you've already maybe tripled the money. You might notice that. But it only takes one time sometimes for people to lose, for them to discourage. But here's what I want to tell you. What you're about to do is make the game, or force the game, into a 10 cycle permutation. It's almost like 1 in a 40,000 spin cycle chance. That's the odds. But the reason why it can happen and happen frequently is because the game, whether you're playing or not, is still going on, which means there's permutations happening even though you're not on the wheel. And just because you got on the wheel doesn't mean the permutation started at that moment. They've been going on for years probably, or for at least months until they cut the machine off. So you just don't know where you are in its regard to match your permutation. However, that's the whole point of talking about doing this part-time. I want to make this clear. To really master this beast here, okay, the game of roulette is the only game or only financial avenue in the world that I know where you can actually reap profits from every 30 seconds. You can do that in the stock market, but the difference between the stock market and roulette is that there is a predicted calculation on the patterns that are played out. There's a reason why red only went 27. There's a reason why. It's limited. Why is it limited? It's 18 blacks, 18 reds. That's why it's limited. There is no infinity line. If it was an infinity line, it wouldn't be 36 numbers. It's limited. 36 numbers. Okay, it's the reason why it's 18 reds, 18 blacks. So what happens is that the infinity line, meaning the result of whatever the ball lands, now that's infinity. But what's not infinity are the patterns that are created, because it's limited to the amount of variables in the game, depending on how you're playing it. Okay, so I wanted to give you guys just that little understanding. So when you play this style of play, let me get to the American roulette here. When you play this, number one, you want to do this maybe an hour, 2 hours a day. Okay, and your goal is not to make $1 million. You might get lucky and play it and may do a progression where you are, playing higher than usual. Go for it. But just know that if you were unlucky, then you would have to make that money back. So be sparingly. And the reason why you want to be sparingly with this is because of something I used to always talk about. The less you are out of the storm, the less chances of it that you are to get struck by lightning. Okay. That goes for anything you are involved in where there is risk. The less risk you take, the better it is for you. Period. Doesn't matter what it is. But listen, guys, we still have a group of Americans who believe that the idea of starting a business is noble. When statistically, it's worse than going to Vegas. But the reason that we've been sold this game is because if you got 1 million people all spending the next 4 years in debt, you know who wins? The banks win. Who are the banks? The banks, the government. I'm not mad at them. It is what it is. I used to work for them. I used to be I'm not gonna say the top, but I had a decent position. So, and in the legal side, by the way. So I understood these things years and years ago, and I saw how the banks controlled everything. They really do. They control the casino. But the reason why people lose at the casino is they don't understand the game. You guys don't understand the game. You don't understand how to calculate it. Anyway, so let's get you making some money here. All right, so $20 to $30 an hour. I'm really being redundant because you really, honestly, can make a living doing this better than you're probably doing anything else. And the reason is because you can calculate. If you stick with me, you watch the videos, get some of what I'm doing. Look at the videos I'm doing now. I'm calling the numbers. There's no coincidence. I'm able to do that because I've studied it enough. And I've come to realize that even in business, I couldn't make calculations the way I can here to produce a profit. Okay. So I can do this here and do it, even though it requires some patience, but the risk is so far less than anything I've ever done because the risk are calculated. So let's talk about the risk. All right. So The basic idea of permutations, if you've ever seen a permutation, you already know it's based upon a pattern. Permutations is a math. It's all about math. Take a look at the original permutations video. I would say look at that video first, study permutations, because you're going to need to understand what permutations are before you start to really sink into this. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a permutation. Again, if you don't know what that is, go look at the original permutations video. Study that, then come back here. Okay, because I'm going to go through this kind of quick. But a permutation is making the last 7 or the last 10 or the last 5 or whatever repeat again. The odds of a pattern repeating is very, very, very rare. So, for example, if you actually did the math on it, to get 7 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 to repeat, I think it becomes like 1 in 40,000 spins or something along that line, or different chances. Or, for example, like in 7 different cycles, the amount of combinations that these can make, it's equal to like 40,000. If you look at a combination on a lock has like 4 different, grooves where you can, put your number in 3, 2, 5, 4. Well, if you looked at the dial of the lock, like these are all locks, right? And so the difference is that this is a lock. It's red, it's black. So it has to unlock it, it has to match it. So what are the odds of it repeating in the same match? Okay, so it'll be not only are you unlocking it, but you're making it repeat. Okay, it happens. The reason why it doesn't happen frequently, it doesn't. I'm gonna show you why it doesn't happen frequently in a second. So, for example, look at this. So we have a black, 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 red, red, red. Let's see if it goes black, 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 red, red, red again. I got $1 million. It doesn't. Well, it didn't even last at all. Look at this. I would have made $1 million if I'd taken that bet. You see where this is going? Now imagine doing that once or twice or 3 times an hour. You're doing $5 minimums, okay? And you're not playing this all day. You're playing, you're just only there to win maybe 4 or 5 in an hour. I guarantee you, your first one, the chances of you losing it are going to be but I'm going to show you how to do 10. That was just 6. I'm going to show you how to do 10, but it requires patience. Our only objective is to get 2 or 3 in an hour. So what we want to do is we want to make the first 3 match the last 3, giving the game 3 progressions in advance, and we're only going to bet the next 4. All right, for a total of 7 progressions. Now you can bet the next 5, you can bet the next 6, is up to you. But the reason I say 4 is because to make the money back on a 4th progression is not as nearly as bad as it would be a 5th and beyond. So 4 is a decent amount, because if the game is going to repeat after 3, you have 4 more progressions. I doubt it's going to go an 8th on a repeat. That's extremely rare. It's like 1 in 30 something thousand different combinations that it has to do to actually make that repeat. No, I don't have the exact math on here, but you could do like a permutations calculation, and it's something along that line. I used to have a spreadsheet that actually showed it, that showed you exactly what it looked like, and it's like in the 30s. It's pretty high. But anyway, so let's just go here. Let me find what let me see if I can find what I'm looking for. So basically, I would say 3 or 4 repeat, and then you bet the last 4 or 5. So let's say if you let 4 repeat and you bet the last 4, that's a total of a 8 cycle permutation repeating, or 8 color combinations repeating. Okay, so we're going to look for 3 that match, say like these 3 and then these last 3, and then we'll bet the last 4 after these 3 if we have a match. Now you can make it longer. The only reason I'm doing these 3 and these 3 is because we only have 10 we can look at. On a regular board, you might notice that the numbers can go up to 30. So you can wait until 10 has passed so that you can do a 10 cycle repeat completely. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you have the first of these three is black, black, black. If the next three are not black, 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 you don't play. You see what I'm saying? So that's if you want to do a 10. If you want to do just a 7, say like these three, 1, 2, 3. These three were the last 4, 5, 6, 7. So you're left. So these three have to match these three to be a 7 cycle. You see what I'm saying? You see how that works? So the last three, here are the last three that were played. They need to match. If you go back 7, they need to match the first part of that 7. So as long as that matches, then after that, you can start playing. Now, here's the deal. That match happens in the game between 5, I don't know, say 5, maybe let's lowball it, 2 and 10 times in a game. Or maybe more. But between that's kind of the sweet spot, between 2 and 10. It definitely could get a whole lot more than that. But count on between 2 and 10. Your objective is only to do this maybe 2 or 3 hours a day. And your objective is only to make a match of 2 or 3 or 4. Because the thing of it is that because it's rare means that the chances are now slim. Because you're breaking the game down into a deeper anomaly that is rare. But there is no defined threshold, which means it could very well match it. The reason why I could define thresholds in the style of play that I play when I play for folk is because it just took a lot of mathematics to do it, and a lot of plays, like 10,000 spins to really get to a point where you know where the actual thresholds are. But even more than that, to know where the thresholds are and how you can actually play them within an hour. Because to get red to go 27 times straight, it will take 2 years. But there are other thresholds that maximize the potential of patterns that actually happen within the hour. So that's what I'm capitalizing on. This, however, is just rare that you see a repeat that goes 7 or 8 or 9. But that's the reason why you play it sparingly. Okay, because it is rare and you're only looking for 2 or 3. So, you don't want to play this continually. Anything that doesn't have a defined threshold, you don't do that, because it means that there is a potential that it can certainly do the match. Okay, like there's a potential that red might go 1,000 times. It's just not the probabilities of that. It's just like maybe jumping to the moon and jumping back to Earth. It's not that it's impossible. It's just never been heard of. It's just never. But there's nothing impossible. It's just improbable. All right. So the probabilities of this, if you're playing it sparingly, the probability of you losing against it is extremely rare. Okay, it's very, very rare. But what you don't want to get into a habit of is continuing to play over and over and over again. All right, so let's just look for a matching 3, and hopefully it didn't time out on me. All right, so let's start again. We're going to look for matching 3. And we're going to talk about progressions, and then that'll be the conclusion of this. While I'm trying to find that magic, look at the zeros. While I'm trying to find the magic 3, as I mentioned, continue to go on Permutations Pro. We're doing real stuff. We have people who are registered. If you want to sit in on a session, by all means, go find a session. And I'll do it in front of your face live, and you'll see exactly what I'm doing, how I'm doing it. And you could decide to play during a sit-in, or you could just log into a session. I basically have 3 solid ways of taking us to thresholds, which allows us to make money faster. So 3 really solid ways to do that. And I just pretty much tell you what the thresholds are, what to play within those thresholds when they arrive, and then you just go at it from there. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go a little bit out of the norm, and because I see a anomaly that exists right here. So if you look at this, we have a red, 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 black, black, red, 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 black. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, it's already kind of an anomaly. I'm going to force this to repeat. So we have a red, 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 black, black, red, 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 black. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to force it to go red, 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 black. That's what I'm going to force it to. Actually, black, red, red, red. That's what I'm going to force it to do. So that's going to be my anomaly, black, red, red, red. In order for me to do that, I'm going to put money against the color I want it to go toward. If it's going to beat me, it has to beat me at black, red, red, red. So I'm going to play red, black, black, black. Okay. Now, when I'm playing, I normally cover the house edge because the only reason it makes a difference is in colors. It doesn't really make a difference if you're playing columns or streets or numbers, but it really does make a difference when you're playing colors, because this is 50-50. You know, if you're playing like in dozens and you have numbers exposed, the zeros are just nothing but another number at that point. Colors is different because you're covering all of the reds. You're taking 50% on all of the blacks, but doesn't necessarily mean this is another color. It's not, because even though it hits, you know, say 2 black, you're not going to lose that. I mean, you might lose, but if it doesn't hit 2 black, or let's say if it hits red, you know that you're going to win. And but if it does hit 2 black, if it does, or hit it maybe multiple times, even though you have your numbers here, you wouldn't have any ill effect unless you didn't cover that and the zero did get hit, and then you'd lose it all. So you want to make sure you're covering it all, because you're covering 50% here. Only makes a difference. This becomes a number once you're starting to play within here. All right, so let's just go here. Black, red, red, red. Let's go black. All right, so didn't take us long for us to win. All right, so let's see if we can make us another match. And all right, so I'm seeing a red, 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 red. Hopefully there is a black that comes up after that. And no. Normally you want to try to do at least 3, maybe 4. Give it 3 or 4 before you play. Because again, you're only looking to do this to win 3 or 4 within the hour. Like your minimum bet maybe should be about $5. So that way you can average that $20 to $30 an hour. All right, but you're only looking for 3 or 4 that match. So you're going to have a little patience and just wait a moment. Once you find the moment, go for it. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I see a red, 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 but I also see a red, red, red here. I'm going to force the game to start it now, even though there is a black right here. All right, so there's a black right here. So what I'm going to make it do here now is go black, red, red, red to force the repeat of this. Okay, so I'm going to make it go black, very similarly to what I just did. Black, red, red, red. Oh, wow. I mean, literally exactly what I did. Black. And my progression will be double because we're working on colors. Red. All right, so 1 on the second progression. All right. All right, let's see if we can find, let's do 2 more where we have a matching 3. And we bet everything after the matching 3. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Now, I was sort of improvising a little bit on that last one because you can do that. You know, you can get a little bit elaborate if you want. You see a color pattern here. You want to make that color pattern repeat. Yeah, that's cool. You can do that too. All right, so let's just click through, have a little patience, and see what we can fester here. All right, so to make things a little quicker, no, let's go ahead and go fast. use my tongue. This is the part of the patience that sometimes the biggest divider in most people's success at the game is patience and waiting for the right moment. And I tend to look at the game of roulette like life, and I judge my abilities to do well at this game also means my abilities to do well at the other game, the game of life. It's all the same thing. And when you rush and you go too fast, you don't make good decisions, you find yourself consistently losing. And you're consistently losing in relationships, business, because often we don't know what we're doing. And when you don't know what you're doing, you make bad choices. I'm still trying to find a match, folks. So that's one of the patience parts about this. Hopefully this stays at a string of black and... all right, we're just going to have to go for this. I'm going to run through it one more time and see if we can get a... all right, so we got a match. All right, so this black, red, there was a black right before this one. So I'm going to make my next bet black, which means I'm going to be bidding red. All right, so that's the first red. Second red. This will be the third red. And the fourth red. Now, not exactly sure what the... All right, so let's stop here. I think that it stopped here. Now, here's what you can do, because this, again, you just saw that pattern repeated. So now that you know that it's very possible to repeat, the reason why I said that play it at at a minimum of 4 is because whatever the progression that it was, I think if you do 5, 10, say 5, 10, 20, 40, 40, 20, that's 60, 75. So you're like at a $75 deficit at this point, right? Now, if that's the case, the game has already produced a repeat pattern of 7. So that means that anything after this is really getting to some very murky waters in terms of its abilities to be aggressive and its abilities to carry out a repeat of the last 7. Unless I made a mistake here, but I doubt that I did. So what we can look at is the next 4, which is red, black. So let's see if it goes red, black. Because if it does that, that means that it would have went 7, 8, 9, 10. It would have went a 10 cycle progression. Red. And mind you, keep this in mind too. This is RNG. Okay. Red, black. This is RNG. And RNG is known for this. Okay, so don't get so bent that bent, but don't get bent out of shape if you're practicing RNG and you see RNG tends to do this. It's a computer simulation. In the real world, this does happen, but not nowhere as near infrequent as it would a machine. And as you can see, we still overcame the machine. Now, here's what I want to say about that. Remember what I just told you about. If you lose the first 4, that meant that the game actually it repeated a 7 series permutation. So from the next 3 progressions as we just did, we won on the third. I was a lot more aggressive in my play. Now, I didn't start at $60. I think I might have started at maybe 30, 40, 50. Knew I was going to take a small hit, but that's how you can make up most of your money instantly at that moment. When that happens, at that moment, progressions 8, 9, 10, and 11 are so rare that will happen, that you can be a little bit more aggressive in trying to make most of your money that you just lost in the last 4 back. Hopefully that all makes sense. Like and subscribe. If you have any questions on that, send me an email. There's a lot of times I don't necessarily get to the questions on YouTube. So send me an email, permutationspro@gmail.com. and I'll try and answer it through there if it's not as fast as you want, if you had a question about this in the comments. But again, the key things you want to remember: number one, don't make this a main play strategy. Incorporate this with other strategies that I have. Okay, this is how you'll get to the point where I'm at now. I'm giving you guys some gold, guys. I don't even know if y'all know it. I'm giving you gold. So combine this with and it's free. Combine this. This is $20 to $30 an hour. You want to do this maybe once or 2 hours, at no more than that a day. All right. You only want to win 2 to 3, maybe 4 in an hour. Don't be aggressive. Do not be aggressive. However, if what just happened to me happens to you, make sure you have enough money where you can bet the next 4 aggressively. You literally almost could, or at least the next 3 after that. Like if you lose the first 4, the next 3, you can be really aggressive. Okay, so just keep that in mind, or aggressive as you want to be, but just know that you can make up a lot of the money that you just lost on the last 4. You can make that back at that moment, if not all of it or more. But that's the moment that that will be your what we call your redemption moment, or how your recovery. There we go. That's your recovery moment, because for the game to actually do an 11 color permutation repeat is 1 in a damn near million. Okay, so that will be your recovery moment, but you can't make a the thing is that sometimes they do sometimes only come maybe twice or 3 times an hour. So either way it goes, you're going to find yourself having to have patience anyway. But this is not, or you can, like I said, you can incorporate this into other methods that I have, or that you probably have. Remember this too, whatever the method that you do have, if you can't calculate the threshold, if you don't know what the threshold is, you're a gambler, which means you're just making wild bets. You don't know what you're doing. Things that you cannot calculate your threshold on, do you understand the limitations of taking it to a particular threshold? In this case, we know that for an 11 cycle or 7 or even 8 color combination to repeat is very strong, and it's in your favor that it won't happen. Very, very much so. Like you're in a 90 percentile in that. So we do know that it's an educated risk you want to take. You can't even start a business and have a type of customer acquisition or some type of profit model that gives you that chance. Good luck. I mean, not to say that you can't produce it, but you're going to be part of that 10% that goes beyond the 4 years, because most people fail in 4 years anyway, 90% of them. So, so you'll be a part of that 10%. Rare, you know what I mean? But in this particular genre, you can be a part of the 100% club, because it's all kind of here for us. Just follow the directions. Don't make it a mainstay, because I don't want to hear the comments of, I had one guy who, with permutations, he made like $4,000 or $5,000 in 1 month, and he just couldn't stop winning. And of course, what did he do? He kept going in that direction and ended up losing all of his bankroll. And I told him, you've got to interchange. Don't fall in love. Don't fall in love with the money. Be smart. Make the money. Don't fall in love with it, because it's too quick. That's the reason why people go to the casino, because it's quick. It's really quick. They don't have to, or at least they think they don't have to think that much. And that's the reason why they're losing everything. Don't be a fool. All right, so guys, so this is enough for here. Continue to like and subscribe, share. Like I said, I'm looking to form or conclude my team. If you want to be a part of that team, send me an email, permutationspro@gmail.com, or sign up for a sit-in session. I'm looking for a solid team. My objective is to, on a part-time basis, by the way, my objective is to get you to a point of making $5,000 to $1,000 every week. That's my objective. The way that I get paid is through tips. Okay, so you can call me the the dealer. Maybe we can call it me that. I don't know, but hey, if I can do that for you, then hey, if you provide the tip, you just pay the small little session fee for the time. It's like 15, 20 bucks. That's it. And my objective is to get you making about 1,000. So if you're interested in that, see how I do it. Sit in on a session, or if you want to just learn from all the stuff that I do, then on the website, all the what got me to this point is everything that I'm selling. So if you ended up, let's say over the next year, if I'm around, by the way, but let's say if you go through all this stuff, you're gonna learn how to look at the game on different levels. One guy comes to the game, he makes 1,000. Another guy loses 1,000 consistently. What's the difference? Well, the knowledge. How do you see the game? One person saw one thing, the another guy saw another thing, right? So I'm gonna show you how to look at it differently, and then you can start making the biggest thing is permutations. To break down any type of A/B system like this, where there is a chance of another outcome, it's called a permutation. And when you have limitations like this, then that's when you can make more succinct calculations. Point blank and simple. All right, guys, that's enough here. If you have any questions, hit me up, Permutations Pro, or 800 number 855 Perm Pro, or you can email me at permutationspro@gmail.com. Take care.